Hello YouTube, I'm Random, and today we're looking at STD episode 9, the second half of that two-parter about sonar in space. You know, because shows with series-long arcs totally work when you throw a two-parter in the middle of the season. And now, before I jump into it, I do want to point out that I watched the show to figure out how to fix it. I want to actually like Star Trek again, and I don't want to settle for this mess of a show. If enough of us on the internet shout it loud enough, maybe it'll fix things in the future. I'm totally fine with pretending the show didn't exist if it means that we get something good later on, but the more complacent we are, the more the network will keep shoveling this garbage down our throats. And yes, I don't have to watch it, but this isn't like some fly-by-night show, you know, that's just some generic space sci-fi whatever on a spaceship somewhere that just has bad writing I could just ignore. You know, this show has to point out every chance it gets that this is Star Trek. And if you're going to wear that name on your sleeve, you really need to keep the brand quality in mind. And I will put the episode title in the description. I totally forgot to look it up before I wrote this out. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's probably something pretentious anyway. But last time, we found out that that Planet Pavo place where like they have the planets alive with like spores and stuff and mushrooms, and there's a giant tower that projects sound into space or something. Well, that planet invited the Klingons to talk, I guess. And I grabbed this shot because I actually like it. I know I'm saying something positive about Star Trek Discovery, but I really, really like the way the shot looks. You know, it's a nice shot of the spaceship, of the planet. Starship, I know I should say starship. But, you know, we can actually see the ship and the planet and the moon, you know, and it's not in a nauseating angle or too dark or shaky to see. Sure, it's a little blue. If we could just tone back some of the blue, the show's just a mess of blue, but that would be great. But do more of this. You know, I get that the planet's blue, so sure. But in the future, more shots that are just kind of like this. And so we have the very same Vulcan Admiral from the last episode, and now he's ordering Discovery to jump away to Starbase 46 because he doesn't want them to get blown up, because the Klingons are coming. He's pissed that the whole Pavo mission thing about using the planet as a way to send sonar into space didn't work, you know, like it would. And the planet, like, called the Klingons over. Well, of course it didn't work. It wasn't going to work. Sound doesn't work in space. Oh, and I point out that this is the same Vulcan from before because the last episode, he was the one that sent Discovery to help protect the Gagarin. Remember the Gagarin? Well, me neither, but they were the last of a group of 3 ships that had been taken over by a slew of birds of prey. They don't look like birds of prey, but they're calling them birds of prey. So that's why I point out it's the same guy, because now all of a sudden we care about the super secret ship with the spore drive that will win the war for us. We didn't before. I mean, we do and then we don't. It's just plot conveniences. So now the Federation is going to use a group of top scientific minds to crack the Klingon invisibility screens that cloak their ships. That's his exact words. Oh, so we're not trying to rename the cloaks since they don't exist yet? I mean, we aren't. Sometimes he says invisibility screens, sometimes he says cloaks, right? And also, finally, let's get some people, you know, to actually try and crack the cloak instead of stupid Michael Burnham trying to use sonar in space, but whatever. And now the Admiral wanted them to spore to the starbase, but Lorca decides to warp there since it'll take 3 hours to get there. And that's going to buy enough time, or buy the crew enough time to go in and save the day, I guess. Also, more on that 3 hours later stuff. Actually, no, let me elaborate now. Why do you need 3 hours? Like, why do you need to spore somewhere that's going to take you 3 hours to go to? It takes you so little time to go 3 hours. Like, it's such a short distance, right? 3 hours at warp. That's, like, in the same solar system. Stupid. But I guess Lorca now decides all of a sudden he needs a paper trail or a data trail, whatever, to cover his ass for disobeying a direct order from the Admiral Vulcan guy. He's probably still worried about the other Admiral wanting to take his ship from him. So he makes Stamets go and get scanned by the doctors. You know, he's like, hey, I guess I am a little itchy. Sure, let's use that as an excuse. So, you know, that stupid crap about the cloaks being undetectable and how cloaks are the only thing that were making the Klingons win. And all that crap about sonar in space making stupid Michael Burnham detect these idiots. Well, she's found a way to freaking detect the background electromagnetic radiation, aka imperfections, aka a way for them to see the freaking cloaked ships. Let's take a second. She can see the cloaked ships. Barely, but she can still see them. No, okay, here's where it gets stupid. I know, too late. But they can see the imperfections. Even though they're really hard to see, but they need to beam over the ship so they can light them up better. You don't need any of that to do any of it. You can already see them. You have a super duper advanced starship thingy right off the assembly line, and computers powerful enough to fly around in space. Use those, maybe? Tweak your sensors to look for the imperfections, maybe? Hell, I'm pretty sure this is a plot in Next Gen, and Data or someone probably used the ship's sensors to see variants in a cloak warp ship signature thing of, I don't know, probably a Romulan ship. I don't remember exactly. It's been a while, but I'm pretty sure I've seen this before in that. So just do that. You're already more advanced than Next Gen technology, right? Stupid Michael Burnham even says that their weapons and shields are offline when they're cloaked. Just fire everything you got in the general direction. Even if you can't see them 100%, you have a good idea of where to look, right? Not to mention, this information would be super valuable to Starfleet. You know, even if it isn't perfected. With it, you could detect ships entering a star system and prepare to defend it. But does anyone bother to send this information to Starfleet? No. It's the Michael Burnham show. She has to save the day. We can't have anybody else do anything. So Stamets has some stuff wrong with him because of the spore drive injection thingy, and now that the doctor knows this, he doesn't want his boyfriend to get hurt in case it's harmful. Stamets hasn't told him all of his symptoms yet, though. Of course, Lorca only wants this paper gel to cover his ass just in case something goes wrong and he might get his ship taken from him. Okay, so Lorca wants Stamets to make 133 micro jumps all around the Klingon ship so they can get a good 3D picture of it to make the sensor EM thingy that they can already use and see better. Even though poor Stamets here gets all high on magic mushroom dust every time he uses it and goes all funny. Is this really a good idea? Do we really need a 3D picture? Like 133 jumps in a tiny amount of time, no less, so that the Klingons can't lock onto Discovery. You know, if they were smart, they would use my, oh, we kind of know the ship is, less spray and pray method, but, you know, I guess they're not that smart. You know, that could work for either side even. Like, the Klingons could totally just fire in all directions. Like, it's just so stupid. It's dumb and disappointing. The show's bad and should feel bad for it. Of course, Lorca uses his manipulation skills to get Stamets to volunteer to do all the jumps, even though they both know they're really dangerous. He's been collecting all the data, the jumps on the map, and it shows all the pockets of negative mass that, spoiler, could be connected to alternate universes. Well, that'll never come in handy in the future or anything. You know, not that we were looking for that after hearing about all the mirror universe leaks or anything, but here we have Lorca almost making a good decision and trying not to send stupid Michael Burnham over to the Klingon ship. Their plan is to put a ton of sensor things inside the ship. Burnham wants to go because she's the only one who's been on that ship before. You know, because Ash Tyler's totally not the torchbearer, albino Klingon or anything. I do like that Lorca tries to make a command decision by not letting some Munir criminal with a pretty big attachment to that ship go over there, but sadly, Michael Burnham uses her powers of being a know-it-all little bitch to basically override his decision to not send her. You know, because she's in charge. It's the Michael Burnham show. She even tries to use the argument, it's logical that I go. What the crap do you know about logic, girl? You're an emotional, unstable little bitch that doesn't have any respect for authority or the chain of command. Of course, he caves like the emasculated little man he's written to be in the scene. I really, really, really hate them giving Michael Burnham any clout or authority over anybody in the show. I don't want this drama for the sake of drama crap in Star Trek. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth and I feel unclean after seeing all this crap. Hey, the Klingons kept Captain Georgiou's bad after eating her. This shot is used so that people will feel smart for noticing it when they use this prop for plot purposes later on. Of course, the Klingons have a generic, the humans are dumb because they sent one ship, let's take it, kill the crew, blow up the planet scene. It takes a whole lot longer for them to do that, to say the whole thing, since they're speaking in that slow as crap Klingon through pounds of dumb-looking makeup they can't even see out of, but yeah, that's what they say. It's a good 45-minute scene for that. Seriously, does this actor look happy to be in this makeup to you? Like, there, let me use my mouse cursor. that tear coming out of his left eye is probably from some painful contacts they used. Like, you can't even see because they cover his eyes. Like, the makeup covers all of his eyes. Poor guy. Like, I feel bad for the actors in this show. Well, the good ones, anyway. So, hey, Discovery's just sitting right there. The Klingons could see them out the window. Let's see how awesome this technological advantage is in a real-life combat situation. Well, I guess it isn't, apparently. It takes the Klingons ages to decloak, and of course the Discovery sits there and does nothing while their shields are down because script says so. Like, the Klingon ships are down. Fire. Disable them. You can see. Yeah. Yeah, they want more information on the cloaking device, sure, but why not just blow up the ship or disable it, you know? And take the cloaking technology back to the nearest starbase. I hear it's only 3 hours away. Besides, you don't really need sensors to lock onto engines or weapons or anything, since you can just see the ship out the freaking window to disable it. Hell, cut that neck off again. That worked pretty well last time. They were stuck there for 6 freaking months, uninterrupted in Starfleet space. But no, instead of that, we get more drunk angles of dimly lit parts of the ship. Of course, only 2 people are beaming over to the Klingon ship again. Stupid Ash Tyler, who's totally not a Klingon, and Michael's stupid Burnham. You know, that worked out so well last time, I'll point out, you know, when only 2 people beamed over. But, you know, but they have pattern simulator things now to mask the human life signs, and I don't care. So the Klingons shouldn't be able to detect them. Okay, so while they're on the ship, they need to go through a door. And let me get this straight now. Ash Tyler wants to take the lead here in opening doors because he spent 7 months in a Klingon prison. He spent 7 months there, and it's only now occurring to you to cut their fiber optic cables? And what, you're gonna cut off their internet so they don't get an email that the door's being opened or something? See, now I'm hearing the old AOL, you got mail jingle in some Klingon going, someone opened door, in their space orc Klingon-y slow speech. Oh, and they're sneaking around opening doors because they detected human life signs. That admiral that got electrocuted and tossed into that dead Klingon room isn't dead, and Michael Burnham can't go without saving everyone. So Ash flips out and goes into full-on PTSD flashback mode the second he sees L'Rell in the room with the dead Klingons and the admiral. And the admiral here, of course, she's mostly fine. She just can't feel her legs, so just a little bit of slight nerve damage, that's all. Burnham notices Ash freaking out at the sight of that Klingon, so she stuns her. And I guess Burnham can use a stun gun setting after all. Luckily, the admiral was a psychologist, so she knows what to do with Ash. She lets Burnham go off and finish her mission, while the admiral does her little psychotherapy stuff. By the way, I did nothing to this shot. The show just has a chubby for lens flares. Just had to point that one out. Also, as they pan around the ship, I noticed something odd. What are these two Wraith guys? You can't really see them. It's so hard to see anything. But you see, like, a guy with the little mask on. They look like Wraith Warrior drone dudes. Like, from Atlantis. From Stargate Atlantis. Now you're making me want to watch Stargate Atlantis. Thank you. I actually like that show. Like, Klingon guys on the ship with stupid masks. Wraith. Thanks, Star Trek. So now, finally, the Discovery starts shooting at the Klingon ship. But, why now? You've got Federation people over there. You got Burnham and Tyler, who's totally not a Klingon on that ship. Why are you doing this now? I don't know. Like, why didn't you do this when the Klingons first decloaked? You got people there. That's so stupid. And with this much damage, like... So, of course, Michael Burnham here is right under that main Klingon on the... You know, she's on the lower part of the bridge, and he's on the upper part. You know, and she's right next to this massive blue glowy light thing that makes a lot of noise that the Klingons don't see or hear. So, really, what's the purpose of them making so much noise anyway? I don't know. I guess just so that you can hear them? It's so dumb. And of course they cloak like the Discovery people want them to do so they can start getting data. I don't know how they'd be able to cloak since they're mostly blown up, but whatever. Then they start, back on Discovery, they start their massive amount of jumps, and it's super hard on poor Stamets. I guess his boyfriend is right there next to him, the doctor. And he wants to pull him out of the chamber, but Lorca orders them to keep on going and do what they have to do to complete the mission. That's actually pretty Starfleet. You do tend to make sure you protect the ship, even if it means sacrificing a person, but... This is actually one of my small issues with the show. I get that the war captain will do anything to get the mission completed, even sacrifice a crew member. But what I don't like is that he's letting Dr. Culber be the supervising physician. Like, I'm pretty sure he knows they're in a relationship. I mean, they do live together. Plus, you know, I love the doctor on the show so much. He's not even the chief medical officer, though. Like, he's just a doctor. He's not, like, the doctor. He's not like Dr. McCoy or Dr. Crusher or somebody. In the past, we always saw the main doctors do the important things, but... I just don't like the drama for the sake of drama. Having drama stuff again, still. That's such a reoccurring thing in the show, too. It's just dramatic because script says so. So Burnham's over there on the Klingon ship using her universal translator thing to speak to the Klingons. Now, I thought she was the best thing since sliced bread, though. You mean to tell me she didn't have time to learn to speak Klingon, too? She can do everything else better than everyone else. She can even make sonar work in space. What do you know? She can't speak Klingon. Oh, Star Trek, you're so silly with your little inconsistencies sometimes. Okay, no, are you kidding me? I really had to take a picture here. I wish I could use it, but I'm so afraid of, like, bots detecting anything, so I'm keeping it 100% fair use with screenshots. But this Klingon just growled like a tiger or a lion. Like, like he's a lion in the zoo. It was so funny. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but if you watch the scene, just... He growls like he's a lion. They use an actual lion growl. I don't even think they use a human doing it. And of course, Burnham's lecturing the Klingon on his honor, or lack thereof, just like she'd lecture Sarek on logic. She'd probably lecture an Andorian on being blue as well. I don't know. It's Michael Burnham. It's the Michael Burnham show. She's right. She's calling him on not actually being the one that started the war and just taking the ship from Takuvma. Of course, Burnham challenges this main Klingon guy, Cole. I keep wanting to call him Core, but, you know, he's totally not Core from the original show. She's challenging him to a fight for honor, or, I don't know, because the script says so. Now, could we be so lucky that Cole squeezes the life out of Michael Burnham, ending the Michael Burnham show? No, we can't. He flings her around for a while and she stabs him, and who cares? Of course, now that we have all the data we need, we can transport our people home. But the Klingon Laurel, you can barely see it here. That's Ash Tyler there, and Laurel jumping on his back as he beams out. Now, we know the transporters are still kind of flaky in TOS era, or at least they're supposed to be. You know, even in the first movie, there's a giant transporter accident, and what gets beamed back doesn't survive for very long. If anyone saw the original movie, the first one. The motion picture is a couple of decades after this is supposed to take place. Maybe let's not jump on people while they're beaming. Maybe. You know, Ash even tells the transporter operator, you know, since they actually have one sometimes, that there's two people beaming back, and Burnham's on the bridge. But how does the transporter operator guy know that Ash is talking about the Admiral and not the Klingon that piggybacked onto Ash? I don't know. It's just a little nitpick, and I don't like it when they jump on people. It was kind of dumb in Star Trek 4, but whatever. So, Burnham, aka not Spock, grabs Captain Georgiou's badge off the Klingon, then jumps off the side of the railing to be transported. This is so dumb. Transporting was hard to do back then. Like, you can't be falling from something and have a good chance of getting a lock on a person. Even in the JJ verse, they lose transporter lock on somebody because they began a free fall just before they transport. And the technology there is more advanced than here. But we get a nice explosion to the stupid Klingon ship. You know, the one that they could have destroyed at any time in those 6 months. They were sitting out there in Federation space, duct taping it back together. So we get news that the female admiral is getting surgery and will be okay. Yay, I guess? We also hear that all the data from those jumps is being refined for fleet-wide use and will be transported to the Vulcan Admiral in under 11 hours. But there's reports of cloaked Klingon ships coming into Federation territory towards Discovery. So here's where the scene makes no sense. I know, a show like Discovery not making sense? That never happens, but here we go. So if this cloak-breaking algorithm thing is so important, why not just send the raw data on an encrypted channel ahead onto Starfleet? You know, just in case. It's super duper important and it is just data. They can crunch it later on both sides and refine it later on, right? I mean, they can send massive amounts of data through subspace, right? Oh, and Starfleet is giving Lorca the Legion of Honor. Okay. Whatever. And, of course, since this episode just doesn't know when to end, here's some crap I don't care about with Burnham and Tyler. But I do like the way this shot looks. You know, it's kind of cool. Lorca is telling Stamets that he's having Starfleet give the medal to Stamets instead. Lorca uses this manipulation thing to let Stamets volunteer to do just one more jump instead of them, you know, just warping back to the starbase they're ordered to go to. You know, the one that's only like 3 hours away by warp. If they're going at maximum warp, that's like less than a quarter of a light year away, right? Why would he even agree to jump when that's that close by warp? I think this is just them not paying attention to how far things are away in this universe. Like, sometimes it's really close, sometimes it's really far away, because script says so. Here we go. You guys ready? Ash Tyler is totally not a Klingon spy, is having a nightmare about being tortured by the female Klingon Laurel. Now, of course, this shot is censored, but in the show, we have to see the whole front chesticles. Now, normally, I wouldn't mind looking at some boobs. Heck, I play video games that are based on boobs, so I don't have a problem with it. I just don't think it really belongs in Star Trek. This is a show that is alienating a huge chunk of viewers by making it something that is no longer something the family can sit down and watch. It's really annoying. Plus, these Klingons are just not sexy. It's like, we can make Klingons sexy. There's no reason why we can't. You know, we've got B'Elanna Torres, pretty sexy. Worf's mate, what was her name? I can't remember her name, but she was pretty sexy. I know those are both half Klingon. Heck, even the original series Klingons were fine. There's nothing wrong with them. You know, we can make it accurate and make them look like they actually should look at this time frame, you know, with flat heads. And we have the augment virus stuff that's already explained why they looked like this. You know, watch Enterprise. I don't really recommend it, but the last season's okay. Like, we already know. Like, we already know about this. Do this. It's like, oh my god, this episode will just not end bullet. Ash goes to confront the Klingon chick who is in an unguarded brig in an uninhabited part of the ship, apparently. Like, seriously, I get that Ash is stupidly in charge of security without being debriefed or anything, but how can he just waltz into the brig down here to question her? Like, is there no such thing as freaking security camera in this universe? Seriously, put a camera in the brig. You could totally do that. They're like a pinhole, like, you probably have a whole 3D holographic sensor that you could do. They probably have that. They just... It's this is sweet, but it's not really smart to have a boyfriend of the patient treat him. Still, they at least give him a nice long scene to basically say goodbye without knowing they're saying goodbye, because the show is so stupid. It's like, we can't see that for what it is. This is a goodbye scene. We know it's a goodbye scene. We're not that dumb. So Lorca enters the coordinates from his chair, and we get a nice shot of him hitting the override button and the line, "Let's go home." Like he's from the Mirror Universe or something. Really? You're really giving us that line? Are you from the Mirror Universe? You can't be from the Mirror Universe. We've never seen anything to indicate that. You know, it's not like they've been setting up hints or anything all season. And of course something goes wrong, and Stamets flips the crap out, and Saru can't find where they are, and there's wreckage all around them. Wonder where they are. Probably not the Mirror Universe or anything like that, right? Anyway, that is it for episode 9, the one with the Klingon tits that gets the M rating. As these aired, they made us wait a whole month or two, but I can't remember, just to see episode 10. I'll try not to take that long to review it, but these are kind of hard to sit through. I guess we could try and do a drinking game for every time I sigh or say ugh, but, I don't recommend it. I don't want you guys to die of alcohol poisoning. Anyway, tell me what you guys think of these episodes. And thank you so much for checking out my videos. Talk to me in the comments, absolutely. And for anybody who's there for gaming, thank you so much for letting me throw some Discovery reviews on my channel as well. I super appreciate it. This is kind of a passion project for me to do this. And I will see you guys on the next live stream if you want to stop by and say hi or Discovery review. Bye!